I'm Dave Johnson. Welcome to Full Court Press. Along with Glenn Consor, it's our first ever edition of Full Court Press on the Washington Wizards Podcast Network. And this is the way to start it out, direct from California, the head coach of the Washington Wizards, Scott Brooks. And before we talk about so many things, this is so important that we've been trying to get connected with fans, with players. And I think we all are wondering how each other is doing. And let's just start there. How has this time been for you? Because there's no playbook for it over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you know what? I hate to say this, but I miss you guys, even you, Glenn. That's hard. That's hard for me to. It's hard for me.
I knew that was coming
out there, but
you could have waited like maybe for the middle of this thing to be going on, but you jumped right in, didn't you?
Hey, you might as well just start how you feel, right? But hey, I definitely we miss being on the court. We miss our fans, and we miss playing the game. But this is way more important. We have to do our job and fighting the coronavirus and flattening the curve and getting rid of it altogether. And it's nothing that we are not focused on achieving. Our basketball will be back, and it will come back sooner, hopefully soon. But right now it's good time to reflect and connect with my family. Told my wife the other day that this is the second time I think in the last 19 years I've spent more than like a day or two, other than playing the Lakers or the Clippers, in California. I've never been in California in March, and like only twice in the last 19 years. And so it's great to be able to connect with the family and just we're doing things that we never thought we'd be able to do at this time of the year.
With the challenges of, keeping optimistic about the season and, connecting with your players, what are some of the ways that, you've not only connected with your players, but with your coaches as well?
Well, it's important. It's important to stay connected with our guys. It's such a relationship-based job. And I try to text, 3 times a week or so and just hit them that way, give them a call every now and then. If they do pick up the phone, they're quick to text, but slow to pick up with a normal call.
These kids.
And blame everything on these kids, right? And then, our coaches do the same. We send videos of them current season and some of the potential matchups that they will guard, some of the guys that we think that maybe they're comparables and they can get and steal something from their games. And but it's a good way. Also, the video conference like the Zoom, what we're doing now with our strength coach, they sent me some still shots of some of our guys working out, and it was great to see. I miss the guys. You miss being around the guys and the grind every day. It's a fun part of the league. You miss the fans. You miss the energy in the building. You miss the travel. You miss the tough losses. You miss the great wins. But it'll all come back soon. We got to make sure we take care of each other's health and our families, and that's more important in basketball right at the moment.
And we were all forced to just separate because we need to right now. That's what it's all about. But how has the dialogue been with your players, keeping up with your players? How is that going? Can you share some of that?
Yeah, it's been great. It's players, they're quick to text back, and it's been fun. You just get back and forth. And you know what? We care for one another, and that's what I love about these guys. They're all pros at such a young age, and they develop that professionalism through, their work ethic, their determination. Our coaching staff, I think, they've done a great job with them. But just texting back and forth with them, you can just see their maturity is growing as this season has gone on. And now during this time, this is uncharted. We don't really know how to act during this time. It's definitely unique. Hopefully we don't have to go through it again, but it's been great. I know Brad, got a picture from Brad the other day. He texted me, his son, a picture of his son playing basketball. So that was always good. It's always fun to see our players be with their kids. A lot of us, myself included, I didn't have a father growing up. So when you see that, it gives you a little extra charge throughout the day. And it's fun to see our players, matures into not only players, but husbands and fathers. So it's something to see that. You don't really have time to see all that because games are coming around the corner, and you got a game tomorrow, you got a road trip this week, so you don't get to see that side of the players.
So,
Scott,
bring them closer.
this is a time of self-reflection for all of us. And if you think about what we're all dealing with, the seriousness of COVID and what it's doing around the country, it is a time of self-reflection because we all have to stop doing what we're doing. And given that, have you had a chance to self-reflect on the season that you've had? Because it's been, you've coached some great players. You've coached Harden and Westbrook and Durant and Beal and Wall and some amazing players throughout your coaching career. But this year, with the roster changes and all the changes that the team has been through, and playing young guys and guys that are starting that weren't even on the team in December, how challenging has that been for you?
It has been a challenging year, but a fun year. I've embraced it. Our players have embraced it. Our staff has done the same. I think our fans have done the same. We got a lot of guys that haven't played a lot of NBA minutes, haven't had a lot of NBA experience. Isak Bonga played 100 minutes with the Lakers last year, and he played that, after 5 or 6 games. Mo Wagner did the same thing, didn't play much. Rui was at Gonzaga. So the list goes on and on and on. And the thing that Brad is seeing his growth and his development. He hasn't had, John with him in his backcourt. That's a pretty intimidating backcourt, but he hasn't had that in a while. And the way he has grown, it's just been great to see. Our effort has been great. And that's what I always tell our players. We have a job to do, and we have to do it every day. And you got to win the day. And then if that's a practice day, you got to win the practice. And then the game the same way. You're not going to win every game, but you got to win the effort game every night. And I can say, there's a handful of games that we laid an egg. We just didn't have it, whether it's whatever. We didn't want to make excuses, but we came out every night and gave great effort. And, hopefully we can get back to doing it again. But, this has been a great time to reflect on what things that we can do going forward. How can we improve our players during this time? And this has given my assistant coaches and myself almost like a free platform that, give me something, throw something at me, or give it to the players. Let's see what works, and get dialogue with the players. You can have good coaching moments, and it doesn't always have to be on the basketball court.
So you're getting time that you typically wouldn't get, and you don't want that time. We don't want the season paused, but it had to be stopped. So is that, and especially when you consider some of the younger players, like a Mo Wagner, like a Rui H, this is such a critical time. I imagine you want that dialogue to go back and forth. So even though the season has stopped, the basketball minds haven't stopped.
No, and I mean, this is real life. Obviously, this is real, and this is also gives us a opportunity to have conversations with players, and not about basketball, about what's going on. And it's important. We all get so locked up in our own world and what we do, and sometimes we over-evaluate how important it is, but basketball is not important right now. And this is the conversations we have with our players. And we have the video, we had conference calls with the players. With our team has done a phenomenal job. I'm so proud to be a part of the group, and I feel so connected with them. Ted and the ownership group has been tremendous. I mean, just absolutely wonderful. And it makes you feel proud, and you want to come back and even work even harder for the group. But this gives us all the time to reflect, all the time to connect, and we have to make the best of it. This shall pass one day. We all hope soon. We don't know when will it be. So you have to take advantage of the days that we have and the ways that we can connect with the players.
Scott, talk a little bit about how you're spending your time. I mean, we're all kind of in the same boat. We are all in this together, obviously with the health concerns, and you don't want to catch anything, and you don't want to dish anything out right now. That's the bottom line. You want to keep yourself healthy and not get sick, and in self-isolation. How are you staying in shape? I mean, what's your day like?
Well, exercise is very important. You want to stay, because that's important. You want to stay mentally and physically fit. So my wife and I, we go for our walks, and we go and try to stay in shape that way. But it's funny. There's a quick little story. It actually happened today. My daughter and I, and there's a couple of trails that around our house there's not a lot of people on, and you can really separate if you do see people, so we can keep our social distance at a good distance. But my daughter and I were going this 4-mile run, right? So we start off, and it's like perfect. We're trying to be apart 6 feet, and we're running. She's always a little bit ahead of me, and I don't know if she's
shocking.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't know if she's just making me feel good because I got my old man jog and I'm trying to stay up with her, and we're doing some stairs and some hills and stuff like that. But the last half mile, I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm in pretty good shape. I'm staying up, and all right, things are going good. And we're like 6 feet apart, and all of a sudden, she's taking the social distancing to another level. I mean, the last half mile, she left me in the dust. I'm like, man, I thought I was in good shape. I thought I was doing my job, and she probably beat me by 400 or 500 yards the last half mile.
Did it remind you of anything?
Well, that's a perfect segue. When I do go with my runs with Glenn, my walks with Glenn on the road. We always say that we have the fastest 1 mile, 13-minute and 59-second mile run.
Just to clarify, we do run in the 11-minute mile pace because you're so competitive. I run with him, and he's like, "Well, what do we do?" We average about 11:30, and he goes,
11.
Next time we run, we got to go 11:15. I'm like, no, we don't. We don't need that stuff.
Hey, I have the watch now. I know exactly how fast we run now, and it's not in the 11s.
It's operated by Sam, that watch. And just a programming note, we have video of Glenn and Scott's run, and we're going to show some of those videos on social media. That'll be some of the best entertainment, and where the truth will separate. Believe it or not, that actually brings up a great point about fitness. And you mentioned players who are staying in fit with the Zoom workouts. But as we look to get going again, I imagine there will have to be some kind of preseason again. Or what do you envision as we restart the season?
That's why it's important for our guys. Yeah. It's important for our guys to stay in shape. And we do the Zoom workouts, we do the yoga workouts. And they do workouts on their own. One thing about our guys, they're pretty committed to getting better. We instilled the philosophy, and I think they've pretty much bought in. And they're pros. They understand it at a pretty young age. They're young and NBA experienced, but they got a real good maturity about their growth, and their mindset has to be about getting better every day. So, but when it happens, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to go, and hopefully. I don't know. All I know is one thing, that I'm all in. Whatever the NBA tells me, I'm all in. I'm going to be backing it 1,000%. I'm committed. Our players will be committed. And if we play, the rest of our season and we fight for the playoffs, or if we play a few games, whatever it is, you're not going to hear any gripes, because I miss it. And, sometimes when you're around it, not that I was taking it for granted, but you knew that there was a game tomorrow night. You knew we had a game next week, and you're going to see our fans. You're going to see the ushers. You're going to see all the players and coaches and staff and all the people that make it all happen. But you don't have it now, and so you miss it. And whatever the NBA has us do, I'm all for it. I'm going to support it 1,000%.
Scott, you've coached so many players around the league, and I got to get your assessment of Rui, because it's so unique. The following that he has with the Japanese media and all the attention that he's gotten, yet he's shown so much potential and so much promise. And what can you compare him to anyone that you've coached before as a rookie? I know you can't compare the attention that he's gotten, but because it's so unique, it's international. And tell me your assessment of coaching him and where you think he is and how unique it's been for you.
It's been great. It's been terrific. We have a great coach-player relationship. I think he will say the same thing, right? One thing about Rui, he's so consistent. He's so mature for, I mean, he's 22, maybe 23 now. Just really understands the game, and he understands that we have a job to do and we want to do it every night. And even when he was out for 2 months, we sent him videos. I talked to him on the phone. He was, he wanted to be on the court to get better. I mean, the attention that he gets, like he said, he's a worldwide known player, not just in Japan, but all throughout the country and all throughout the world. And he's loved because how he carries himself. He's just a great person. And, the basketball, he's going to get better every year. He's going to get better every year just because he just has that in him. He was raised the right way. Parents did a great job. His coaching at a young age did a great job. And he knows that he has to get better. There's a lot of good players in the league, and he knows it. And he didn't back down from any of them. He challenged himself to play well. I mean, even in the Milwaukee game, which was it was a tough loss, but it was a great game for us because a lot of players grew up that night. And him seeing Giannis for the first time, and that's not always easy to see the best player in the NBA, and he competed against them very well.
And along those lines,
he's become fluent in Japanese, right, Scott?
Who?
You.
Konnichiwa, Ohio gozaimasu. That's my 2 words. But I'm going to learn more of this break. Looking, I mean, it's hard. I've tried, but I got those 2 words down.
Along those lines, what are you most looking forward to when we're allowed to play again with this team? Because I think what also needs to be recognized is this team was continuing to get better on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, when all of a sudden there was the abrupt stop. When we can play again, what are you most looking forward to seeing?
The last 30 games, I thought we've had a pretty good – guys are coming back from their injuries, and a lot of important players missed a lot of time, and they came back. And I think we're right around 500 the last 30 games. Our offense is pretty good, but our defense has improved. And that's the thing that we knew once we get the guys and once we get some practice times and we can get some consistency and guys can stay healthy, that will improve, and it has. So, looking forward to seeing the guys and being around the players and to seeing them get better. That's been fun. It's been great. It's exciting. It's challenging at times, but we've all embraced it. And the players, they want to be coached, and they want to be coached hard. And I believe in, I believe in our players. I believe in Tommy Shepard has done a good job of changing this around and making guys, fun to be around, and guys that want to be around and want to compete for one another.
And along those lines, I'm sorry, go ahead, Glenn.
Go ahead, Dave. You go.
No, real quick. Along those lines, even though the season's been forced to be extended, the plans with John Wall, I imagine, don't change.
No, I don't. I mean, it's like I've said all year. We're going to continue to challenge John, not only through his rehab, but through the team. And he has great experience, and having him on the bench during games and have him, talking to him during timeouts. The guy's a savant, man. That guy knows everything about basketball, and he sees the game at such a high level and quick. His IQ is tremendous, and he will tell me some things that during timeouts, and I'm like even second guessing him. And I'm like, man, are you sure you saw that? And he says, yeah, coach, I see this. The way they're guarding it right here, this shot, this man will be open. Put our best player, our best shooter right here, and he's going to get an open 3. And you know what? He's right. But yeah, it's going to be great. It did come to a halt, and quickly. One day we're playing, and the next day we're not playing. So that's been very difficult. But we try to stay connected with all the players the best we can.
With the optimism of the season continuing on, what do you want to see in the way of improvement collectively as a team? You've mentioned some players. You talked about how, Bradley Beal and his development has been just off the charts in every aspect of his game. But collectively as a team, the season continues on. What do you want to see?
Well, this is going to be a great test for all of our players. There's certain guys, when the younger players per se, I'm not like pointing them out, but I am pointing them out. This is going to be a great test for them. How when they come back in particular, are they going to be in shape? And this is a time that, yeah, you know what? You might not want to work out today because it's the same workout you did the last 5 days, but you have to stay in shape because you never know when the season's going to start. And so this is going to be a great testament to who they are and what they're about. And so focus in on the season, you know, that season's going to come hopefully soon, but they have to be ready when it does happen because in the league, the other 29 teams are not going to be waiting for us to get back into shape. We have to be able to use this time to be in shape going into the season when it does happen.
We appreciate your time on Full Court Press, and I know you've been
Say
spending.
hi. It's
Oh,
Mars
man,
here.
the better half. About time. I'm tired of seeing Glenn.
Yeah, I've been saying that for 20 years, but that's another story.
Hey, speaking of which, I know we got to wrap this. I know we got to wrap this up, but Scott, I know that your wife Sherry is not used to being around, and I got to believe that there's not many. She's got to be more excited than you in getting the season back because it gets you out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's been great. This is the time that we all connect. I mean, we're having family dinners. I don't remember I remember it often. You know, twice in the last 20 years, I've been in California in March. So it's family dinners. It's walks with my wife. It's crossword puzzles. It's puzzles. It's a lot of Netflix. So it's a lot of opportunities for all of us to be connected while we're away. And we have to take this time and reflect and figure out, you know, what's important and have that good balance of work and family.
Well, along those lines, do you have a Netflix? Do you have any recommendation for anybody at this time? Do you
Yeah,
have
you know what? I've been hooked on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Man, that guy Larry David is like, I mean, there's so many things that happen to him in that show that you're like, man, that happens a lot. And those characters are funny. But my wife, you know, I don't really spend a lot of time watching TV during the season because you don't have a lot of time, but you know, it's just been great to be able to connect with the family.
Listen, great to be able to connect with you. Thank you for the time. First episode of Full Court Press.
You're welcome. Thank you. Let's do it again.
Yeah, well, let's do it again. Let's be talking about games. Look forward to that. Remember, all podcasts featured on Wizards Radio 24/7 on the Wizards app, as well as SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. The Wizards Podcast Network can also be followed on Twitter at WashWizardsPN. For Scott Brooks, Glenn Consor, I'm Dave Johnson. Stay connected, stay safe, stay healthy.